Hey, Shalawam, Shalawam. Alright. First and foremost, facing the east, giving all praises, honor, and glory be to the Heavenly Father and His Son, by way of the Holy Spirit. Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kodash. Those are the true names of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. That's in the ancient Hebrew, the Paleo Hebrew, also known as the Lashawan Kodash, which that means the holy language. Kodash means holy. Lashawan equals language or tongue. Right? The Father's name is Yahawah. That means He is, He exists. All right, that's once again in the Lashawan Kodash. The Son's name is Yahawashi. That means He saves, He delivers. And then how you say Holy Spirit is Rakah Kodash. All right, Rakah Kodash. Now this is in the, once again, the ancient Hebrew, the Paleo Hebrew. So anything other than that is not correct. It's not proper. Names do not translate. Okay, so wherever you go on this earth, your name is your name. It does not translate into these different languages. And that's the same with the Father. All right? What language He gave His name in, that's His name today. And He gave His name to who? He gave His name to, really beginning with going back to Seth, going back to Adam. Okay? Let's get that. They began to call on the name of the Lord. All right? This is Genesis 4, and we'll start at 25. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son, and called his name Seth. For power said, she hath appointed me an another seed, instead of Abel, whom Cain slew. And to Seth, to him also there was born a son, and he called his name Enos. Then began men to call upon the name of Yahawah, the name of the Lord. All right. All right. So, hey, second of all, giving double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone, which rule well and teach well and sincerely taught us this truth. And Shalawam to the Lord's hopeful elect. As always, it's your brother Yerami Kazak back with hopefully another edifying lesson through the spirit, power, and strength of Yahawah Bahasham, Yahawashi Bahasham, Kodash. All right. I'm going to begin in a moment. In about 1 minute or 2 minutes. All right. Give me 1 second. All right. This is going to be in a form of like a study hall, whatever it be, just going through certain things, right? Certain points, prophetic points that's happening right now. Okay, re-going over it, all right, just to keep brothers sharp. So we're going to go into these 3 points. The chip, which is, the mark of the beast, MOTB. We're going to go into famine and pestilence, and we're going to go into persecution. All right. So let's begin. We're going to begin, no particular order. We're going to begin with famine since I got it pulled up already. All right. So I'm going to start with going through a couple of these little videos. And all I did was type in famine is coming on YouTube. And as you can see, man, the heathens they're enthusiastic about it, right? They're trying to tell you that famine is coming. Okay, so let's run it.
This has got to be the scariest news we have seen in years. And I'm talking about going back to 2020 and the chaos that the world experienced at that time. Right now, farmers across the United States and really around the world are already warning that we are destined for a food crisis. It's going to happen here in the United States as well as other countries as well. But what we are hearing is that without fertilizer, which is the big issue right now, I talked to a friend of mine, I'll explain what he's doing, but without fertilizer, we can't feed 8.3 billion people. No, we can really only feed between 1 to 2 billion people. That means we can potentially, at most, feed a quarter of the world's population. How scary is that? Look at some of the things we're seeing right now here in the U.S. It says, Iran war causing fertilizer prices to spike. South Carolina farmers warn of impact on food costs. And then
Hey, bro,
it says Kentucky farmers brace for higher fertilizer and diesel costs amid Iran conflict. We are not out of this. According to multiple sources, they are saying even if this war were to end today, even if the Strait of Hormuz opened up completely today, there has still been so many issues. This conflict has gone on for far too long. But I believe we're in week 6. Yeah, or week 7. This is an issue.
And we can stop that one right there. Now, this was a month ago. You know what I'm saying? And this conflict is continuing. And as it came out, we understand there was a lot of fertilizers that was coming out of the Strait of Hormuz that the farmers do use all over the planet. All right, so this is affecting food, not just oil. You know, this is why as watchmen, we make the proper report. Like the world is trendy and they're just like oil, but nah, we look deeper and we understand that food, famine, a lot of goods is being affected. And then also with oil, okay, oil is used, a lot of things use oil, man. A lot of things are produced by oil. Okay, oil is put into a lot of stuff. So it's not just affecting gas prices. It's going to affect everything. You know, oil became a big product around the end of the 1700s, early 1800s, when they began to drill for oil. Okay, before that, the world ran on, it was a different system, you know. But once those bankers understood how to use oil and that it was major and all of that, they understood that this is a way to control the planet. Okay, this is a way to control commerce. It's a way to control the markets, et cetera, because oil is like that glue that glues all the markets of the world together, you know. So they can, if they can fluctuate it, they can raise it and they can lower it, then they can control the world. So every war is a banker war, you know what I'm saying? And oil is a major resource. But it goes back into Genesis, the 27th chapter, right? 38, around 38 going downward, where Esau shall have the dew of the earth, the fatness of the earth. And that's speaking about resources. So he's going to have ability to control a lot of the oil and all these type of resources that make the world go round. Now, hey, the brother already on point with 2nd Esdras 2, 2nd Esdras 6 and 22. And it reads, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Now, that's by way of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. It's, you have him putting the spirit on these Edomites, you know, to create man-made famines. With Biden was already doing that. Trump's already doing that. Where they're putting basically sanctions on certain farmers. And they're causing fires such as the fire in Nebraska and all of that, you know, that's affecting the food that goes forth across this planet, you know. So you have man-made created famines, and then you also have plagues that are affecting this place. So Yahawah is doing all of this, and he's bringing it to where he needs to be. He has to bring these things to pass. But, hey, in famine we shall laugh. All right, in sickness we shall laugh. So we're laughing at the Hanta V. We're laughing at the CV. We're laughing at RSV. We're laughing at all this type of stuff. We're what? We're trusting in Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, and we're moving in wisdom and understanding, and we're building up our immune systems. We're eating right. We're fasting. We're exercising, right? We're staying in the spirit. So let's move on to the next one.
Famine, because pandemic, famine, and war, they go together, like the triangle of death.
What do you advise people do to get ready for it?
It's not going to be easy, and especially if you live in a major, where clearly they're trying to put us into famine, because pandemic, famine, and war, they go together, like the triangle of death.
What do you advise people do to get ready for it?
It's not going to be easy, and especially if you live in a major city. People go to cannibalism within 2 weeks. They're going to be coming to your house, and the crickets come out. It's time to do X.
Great advice just for everybody today. I want to dive into some of the stuff you've been talking about, a famine coming and setting the stage. So I know this goes back to your time in the Netherlands. How does that tie in?
Right, or actually, yeah, that's why I went to Netherlands. Now, in 2020, that was the first time I started warning about potential famine, because I could see conditions were starting to be set for that, right? And it's all about conditions.
You noticed this in 2020?
Oh yeah, I was publishing it like almost daily back then. Get ready for it. Get ready for famine, because it's clearly conditions are. It's a long flash to bang, and so I've been studying it quite a lot. I read a couple dozen books on it now, and on famine. I read more than 60 on pandemic, but I'd read about 40 before the pandemic, because pandemic, famine, and war, they go together. They're a triangle. So you see patterns. You see. And if you get a big war, you always get famine and you always get pandemic. If you get a big a big one. If you get a big pandemic, a very serious one, you'll always get famine and war, right? They just go together, like the triangle of death. So I was talking about this in this interview, and a reader, she called up, she was kind, and she's like, you talk about this as if you made it up. And I said, I did. She said, no, it's in the Bible, the 4 horsemen, right? I was like, yeah, you're right. I literally have plagiarized the Bible. Like, if you're going to plagiarize, I guess. But they knew it 2,000 years ago. So all these patterns, nothing's changed. I've started to look at the Bible as like a survival manual. I mean, seriously, it's like it's all there.
Hey, let's start there. What is the Bible? Hey, he got it right. It's a survival manual, man. Okay? And the ones that dig into it and that learn it, that understand what's going on, they're gonna survive. They're gonna make it. All right? That's what you call the elect, man. Because that's who the scriptures is revealed to. Okay? So, hey, that's through the Spirit this individual was saying that. You know what I'm saying? Now, as he said, a key point he said was war and famine go together. All right? I'm sure everybody been saying this right here. All right? Every 6 years, you got SARS one, you got S flu, you got Ebola, you got CV, you got the Hanta. All right? You know what I'm saying? So, with that, you also have certain wars. You got Iraq, you got 9/11, that was around up there. You got, these major conflicts and stuff that goes along with these. And shutdowns and stuff, as we're seeing from 2020 to 2026. All these things I remember as a kid. Growing up, I remember as a teenager. I remember when Ebola, because they was talking about that shit in Africa, was killing people like crazy. I remember the swine flu. All right, what was that shit? H1N1? You know what I'm saying? That shit was crazy. All right, but, nothing was like the CV. And Hanta may be the next big one. We pray. So, as we said earlier, these things are man-made. Okay? But it's a lot of, what's the word, man? A lot of propaganda that goes with it, a lot of fear-mongering that goes with it to push the narrative, to push the world into the environment that the bankers wanted to be in. Okay? So you got to push the fear. It's like Esau is a bully. And a bully, behind the scenes, a bully's a bitch. You understand? He ain't really about shit. But he rules off the power of intimidation. But when somebody step up and knock that bully out, then everybody was like, you wasn't strong as we thought you was. Like Craig beating up Debo ass. So that bully is about to get destroyed. All right, by who? By King Yahawashi. So we just got to wait upon that. Now, as this bully rules and reigns, he's going to bring forth all the terror that he's allowed to bring forth. And Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi is allowing that to be. Now, let's go to the 2 Thessalonians, because that hits perfectly. All right, who lets the 2 Thessalonians and chapter 2, verse 7. For the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. Who is letting this stuff happen? Who is letting this stuff happen? Yahawah. Bahasham Yahawashi. Okay? So it's all according to the script. So Yahawah is allowing this devil to go forth upon this earth and do what he has to do. Because, I said this a couple lessons ago, Esau is a blessing to us. And that may sound crazy, but that's the truth, man. As a refinement tool, as a tool to sharpen us, as a tool to humble us. So Esau, Edom, is indeed a blessing to us by being a curse to us. You know? This is Isaiah 45:5. And start at 4. For Jacob, my servant's sake, and Israel, mine elect, I have even called thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me. I am Yahawah, and there is none else. There is no power beside me. I girdled thee, though thou hast not known me. From 2/3 to 1/3, regardless, if you don't believe in Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi or not, your bloodline goes back to Jacob, you are indeed an Israelite. You don't have to believe or not. That makes no difference towards the prophecies. That makes no difference towards the word. Okay? So your opinion, honestly, has no weight. You understand? Soak that up. Okay? The same as us. Our opinion has no weight. Our righteousness is as filthy rags. What we going to do? We going to stand up here. We going to preach and come and prophesy and bring it from the scriptures. We are just reiterating what the Father said, what Yahawashi said. That's all we doing. So my opinion on, well, I don't think, Yahawah should do it like that. That shit don't matter. Your opinion don't matter, buddy. You understand? So nobody's opinion matters, man. What does Yahawah say? I declare the end from the beginning. Okay? He do all that he pleases. He do all his pleasure, loosely quoting. So, verse 6, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west, that there is none beside me. I am Yahawah, and there is none else. Hey, the sun hot as a bitch. It was 96 last camp. You understand? Can I stop the sun from coming out and being hot? No. So my opinion upon the temperature don't matter. The Most High gonna have it hot. He gonna do what he want to do. He might have it cold at camp. He might have it hot at camp. My opinion about it don't matter. It's not gonna change. I just gotta endure. Okay? That they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. I am Yahawah, and there is none else. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, Yahawah, do all these things. So famine, pestilence, persecution, all this type of stuff that's coming upon our head that we have to endure. It's all coming from Yahawah. Y'all, hey, these Christians, they love to say this. Y'all know what I'm about to say. All right? He give his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. He does. Right? He gives some tough battles. Okay? So that means that you got to go through all of this. Whatever you have to go through. Not turn around, bitch, and sell out. Take a 501(c)(3) or try to find another route. You one of his strongest soldiers, right? As y'all say. So you got to take that tough battle. Okay? Let's keep it going. Let's go to the next one.
Going to have global famine. And I'm a very positive thinking type of a man. I just don't see a way out of this at this point, even though it hasn't really started in earnest yet. It's all about conditions. Again, amateurs always talk sparks. It's about conditions. The conditions are set for a huge global famine.
Say somebody watching this is concerned about famine. Is there anything that the average person can do to either prepare or fight back?
It depends on your conditions, right? How you should prepare. If you live on Key West, you've got one set of issues. You're also not going to have a big farm, right? You're not going to grow anything down there. Or if you live in Hawaii, imports about 90% of the food. You're going to be short. You're going to be bidding against the world on the price of that food, right?
And that's the thing about the heathens. They try to find a carnal way out of it. How can I prepare? How can I get ready? How can I, you can't really. Okay, now, hey, of course we use wisdom. Okay, I got like 5 cases of water. All right, that's what it is. We got a couple canned goods. You know what I'm saying? We not out here doomsday prepping, but we got a couple, what we need for when that rat race happens. You understand what a rat race is? All these heathens running to the grocery store and trying to buy up everything. We not in that rat race. So we're not running to the store to buy all the canned goods and stuff. We already got a little bit saved up already. As the elder put out a couple camps ago out here in LA, You know, he said, hey, when you go to the store, man, if you can, buy 2 or buy 3. All right? So you trying to prepare a little bit, you know, but it's not on the level of doomsday prepping where you got a whole shed full of canned goods and bottled water and all that dumb shit. No, we trusting in Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi to get us through. But we going to make sure we not involved in that rat race, running and, you know, fighting to get food and scraping and robbing and looting and all that. We don't do that. Okay, we going to trust in Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi at the end of the day. All right, and he is going to what? Let's go to Psalms 55. This is Psalms 55 and 22. Cast thy burden upon Yahawah, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. Okay? But thou, O power, shall bring them down into the pit of destruction. Bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days, but I will trust in thee. Are you a bloody and a deceitful man? You ask yourself that question. Okay? Do you lie constantly? Are you out here murdering? Are you out here? You can murder with your words, man. By lying and saying certain things. Okay? So, hey, you know, are you part of those 7 things that the Lord hates? All right? So you got to examine yourself and get right. Okay? Because, it don't matter. Whatever you do, if you not looked upon in Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi's eyes as worthy, then he's going to destroy you. All right? Let's play like 1 or 2 more. And this one was 3 years. This one I just played, this was 3 years old. So that's back in 2023. They was talking about famine. So these heathens have been talking about famine for a long time. They know it's coming. And of course, these Edomites, they have been preparing. They got massive amounts of ammo. They got massive amounts of food storage. They got all these type of things. And I believe, you know, the food and all of that, as the elders say a lot, they're building that up for us as we going to be moving as pilgrims upon the earth. So they're building these things up for us, man.
I want you to...
Let's go to this one.
For our farmers. You know, I think we lost a lot of who we were when we moved off the farms. You know, when you live on a farm, you don't have to explain sex to your kids because what is that cow doing to that cow? I mean, it's pretty clear. It is pretty clear. Everything makes sense. The circle of life makes sense, you know. You're facing death a lot all the time because you're seeing the circle of life with your animals. You understand that you can do absolutely everything right and still fail because it didn't rain. Something happened. Your crop can go out and your neighbor's crop can be fine. That teaches you compassion. That teaches you, hey, love your neighbor. You really need to help your neighbor out because you know what? There's going to come a time where your crop fails and theirs is doing fine. And so help each other. We've lost so much because we've lost the connection to our farms and our farmlands. And I think that's when America really started to hurt and really significantly change. And now we're living in a time where nobody knows where their food even comes from.
Exactly.
We don't even know it's real anymore when it comes to our food. But right now, there are farmers that are firing up their tractors and heading out into the fields for spring planting. And a monster drought has swallowed 60% of the lower 48 states. You haven't heard about this, but it is true.
Hold up, man. We might have to go into this one. All right. Now, as you said, you haven't heard about this. They're not going to publicize this. They're not going to put it on the news. They're not going to let you know. You know, they want this. What did we just read in 2 Esdras 6 and 22? Let's read it one more time. Because this is important, man. These scriptures are going to speak loud. And for you people that's not listening, they're going to hit your ass like a ton of bricks because you never paid attention. All right. 2 Esdras 6 and 22 again. And suddenly shall the song, suddenly, key word, suddenly. Look up what that means. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. Not over a couple years. Not you're gonna have a warning about it. They're gonna let you know, hey, we're gonna run out of this in next week, next month. No, man. You're gonna be Going to wherever you shop on a Tuesday, you're going to come back on a Wednesday, ain't shit there. Okay? Shelves are empty. That favorite water you used to get, man, they don't even got, bro, I used to get Topo Chico like heavy. I used to get that shit like twice a week, a case of it. You know, it's not there no more. And they said it ain't coming back to like the end of the year. It's a shortage. I looked up the origin of it. It's made in Mexico. Something's going on. All right? So it's like that. It's just not going to be there anymore. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. Sown, meaning you're laying seeds. These are the forms. What he's talking about, the forms and stuff. The sown places shall appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. That ties into not just food. That ties into the oil. Okay? That ties into the the pesticides, all this type of stuff that America, they're trying to tell you this stuff is running out. All right? I saw an article the other day. Let me see if I can find this. Right here. Okay? U.S. oil storage tanks are projected to reach critical low levels around July 4th, 2026, driven by rapid inventory depletion, high demand, and disruptions from the Iran war. Experts warn this could cause severe, immediate supply shortages and higher fuel prices as stocks hit tank bottoms, prompting a significant rapid drawdown of reserves. But why is this not being publicized all on the news, man? Why don't you know about this? Okay, we know about it because we the prophets. We looking, we learning, we watching, we studying. We're investing our time where it needs to be invested. So we know that this stuff is about to run out. I posted a couple days ago on YouTube, California talking about they got 4 weeks of gas left, 4 weeks of oil left. You know? So these type of things are occurring. So you're going to have famine in all different type of places. Food, oil, supplies, goods, whatever it be. Okay, so it's not just food. It's the storehouses. Storehouses are many different type of avenues, man. Let's hear a little bit more of this. Oh, and another good point he was talking about. Farms. Now, back in the ancient day, we all had farms. We all had cattle. We all had goods. We all had resources. You know, whatever your father's trait was, you lived off of that. Your father was an architect. You most likely was an architect. Your father was a carpenter. You most likely was a carpenter. All right? Whatever it be, you lived after your father's craft. Okay? That's simple. That makes sense. You didn't have to really go to school. You would stay on his property. You would learn the trade. And the eldest son would get that land. And brothers that read the Bible, you actually read the scriptures, you know the eldest son would inherit the land of his father. All right? Or he would go off and get his own land, etc., etc. You know, and you would inherit that craft. So you didn't really grow up thinking like, yo, what I'm going to do? No, that was not our way. We already knew what we was going to do. We was going to do what our father did. Okay? So as he was stating with the farms and the cattle, and you see the circle of life happening. You see cows messing with cows. You see dogs messing, whatever. You had no question, man. Okay? You saw death. You got used to these things. You understood this is how life is. A man with a woman. It was not when the entertainment, the TV and all this, the cell phone and all this bullshit comes into play, Esau's wiles, meaning his strategies, his tactics, that begins to pollute and defile your children. That begins to pollute and defile your way of life, your understanding. Let's go to Habakkuk 2 real quick, and then let's get back to this. Because that's how this devil gets down. Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, philosophies, doctrines. He's coming at you in any type of way that he can. Whether Let's say you don't watch TV, but you listen to music. He gonna come at you through the music. You don't listen to music, but you read books. He gonna come at you through the books. All right? You know, he gonna try to come at you in whatever type of way he can get to you, man. Okay? Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. He ran these farmers out. He brought it to the point where the crops ain't growing and it's not raining, and he controls the rain. And look at, perfect example was when Iran destroyed the radars that was in the Middle East. It began to rain in the Middle East like crazy. Matter of fact, let's see if I can pull that up. Okay, let me see. Right here.
Tehran was almost made uninhabitable by drought, and the drought was engineered in part by U.S. radar systems that were blasting energy to ionize the atmosphere to steer clouds away from Iran and to actually cause a drought. It's just classic geoengineering, multiple ways to achieve this. But what has happened is that since those large radar installations around the Persian Gulf have been destroyed by Iranian drones, the rains have returned.
Remember what Zbigniew Brzezinski said, who was the advisor to Jimmy Carter. He started the Trilateral Commission. He's the father of Mika Brzezinski on Morning Joe Ball. And
Speak News, I think is how you pronounce it. Speak News Brzezinski.
He said technology will make available to the leaders of major nations techniques for conducting secret warfare, of which only a bare minimum of the security forces need be appraised. Techniques of weather modification could be employed to produce prolonged periods of drought or storm. Well, son of a gun, we've got evidence that that's exactly what they've been doing in Iran.
You know, fair use. We don't go into it too much, but that's it, man. Okay, you saw weather modification, and this has come out because Iran destroyed those radar towers, and now it's raining over there like crazy. Okay, the clouds are being able to come in. And I saw examples of that on like small scales where individuals in their little houses, they took some copper and they took some metal and they put it together and they aimed it at a cloud and it dissipated that cloud. Okay, so it's ways that you can control the weather. And then Esau has far more advanced technology and resources to modify the weather, where they can make it rain and they can stop the rain. So they can create a drought or they can bring the rain. All right, Salakia. So they've been playing Yahawah. Bahasham Yahawashi. That's what they've been trying to do. You know, but their kingdom is falling and all that power, they're being exposed. They're being made bare, as the scripture states in Jeremiah. You know, so just showing that for anybody that didn't really know that they was over there controlling the weather and messing with those folks, man. You know, but that's showing you, going back to Habakkuk 2:5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. You over here in the so-called Middle East messing with these people. That's not your land. You know, really, you don't even live in your land, which is in Jordan. Okay, Mount Seir, Petra. You don't even live there. You everywhere else. All right? Who enlarges his desire as hell and is as death. Everywhere you go, you bring with you death and cannot be satisfied. You're insatiable. Whatever you do, it does not satisfy you. You just want more and more and more. You're like a female, man. You know what I'm saying? These women, they just want more and more and more. Okay? You get a new car, you get her some clothes, you get her a purse, you take on a trip, you just blah, blah, blah. Nothing satisfies her. You know, you got a woman, man, hey, it ain't gonna end well. You gonna end broke. And then she gonna drain you dry. And then she gonna leave and find somebody else and do the same thing. That's what Esau does if he's able to continue. Let's say he gets done with the earth. He runs out his master plan he drops the nukes, he goes into his bunker, he comes out, and he starts over. And let's say he's able to get the ability to go to Mars. He's going to drain Mars dry. He continues that. He goes to Jupiter. He goes to Saturn. He goes to Venus. He's going to drain those planets dry. This individual is going to drain the universe dry. He's the opposite of us. He's not going to be fruitful and multiply. He's going to go everywhere and bring death. You know, so he has to be destroyed. For anybody out there talking about he can be saved, don't you see his pattern? How dumb are you? I mean, honestly, what's wrong in your head? What has he done for you other than lie to you? You know, man, matter of fact, hey, real quick, let's go to this post on Instagram the other day. Let me see if I can find it. AI. Where is this shit at? Man, I know I saved it too. Cause even AI has disclosed what this individual is on. Yeah, I can't find it, man. Nah, man, I know I saved it the other day. 1 second, give me 1 second. All right, right here. The Wadi Bahasham, Yahawashi, Kakadash. Somebody asked ChatGPT the top 10 things humanity should know. Okay, I'm gonna just go through some of these real quick. Matter of fact, I want to do a whole lesson on these later on. So I'm gonna just go through them real quick, and Lord willing, Yahawah do a lesson on it later on. You are being tracked constantly. We understand that. We know that. Your phone, your car, all right, your laptop, whatever it be. Okay, you're being tracked. Okay, food is engineered to keep you addicted and sick. Exactly. GMOs, chemtrails, everything that's being sprayed, pesticides, etc., etc. The internet is being sanitized and controlled. Yep, exactly. So they're controlling everything. That's why your algorithm is set up a certain way. You have to look and dig for this type of stuff. And that's the point of being a watchman. You got to look and dig for certain things. You got to have a sharp eye. When my brother had eagle eye, Nashar, he wasn't here. But you got to have an eagle eye. You got to be looking and finding these little things. An eagle can spot like a mouse from like a mile up. You know what I'm saying? So you got to look, right? That's how we got to be. Money is created out of thin air. We talk about it all the time. Okay, the Federal Reserve, these central banks, America just keeps printing and printing and printing, but it has no value. It has nothing to support it. Modern medicine often treats symptoms, not causes. Exactly. Holistic medicine treats causes. It actually cures you. Most history taught in schools is sanitized or incomplete. Yeah, you got the small hats, Amalek, you calling them the Israelites. Come on, man. All right. The digital divide is widening. AI, automation, and digital infrastructure are growing faster than society is adapting. Those without access to these tools or skills will be left economically and politically voiceless. And that's what's happening. They're going to force you to get this RFID to CHIP, right? You gotta align with their system or you got to fall behind. Space isn't as far as you think, and space is really, you go back to Genesis, you got waters above, you got waters below. That's what space is. Okay? The waters above and the waters below. That's all it is. Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi placed the land in the middle. So above you have waters. That's why he opened the floodgates and he allowed water to pour down. So during the flood, you had water higher than Mount Everest. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Water was extremely high. It covered the mountains. This is why you have petrified bird fossils on the top of Mount Everest and on the top of certain mountains? How did Salakia, fish, I'm talking too fast. How did fish get on the top of Mount Everest, man? You know? Ox said, the small hats have purchased programs to geo-fence churches to see members' data history. Exactly. And then you got 501(c)(3)s like IUIC and ISUPK and these individuals that you join their organizations, you have to give them your social security number. You know, they have to add you to their database. They have to put you in their system. And that boosts their numbers. That also gets them paid. That gets them that grant. You know what I'm saying? Synthetic biology and gene editing are advancing quietly. Yep. Transhumanism, all this type of stuff, all right, is moving forth. They wanna mix mice, man with machine. Economic collapse is always closer than it looks. Okay? Now, that goes into back to the point of famine, pestilence, all of that comes with economic collapse. Okay? So, let me see. Let's get back to this individual. Play a little bit more.
Maps don't lie. The South is baked sugarcane, rice, peanuts, fruit trees, choking under severe, extreme, and even exceptional drought. Out in the plains, where that's our breadbasket, winter wheat is sitting in dust. It can't germinate because it doesn't have the water. In the West, the mountain snowpack is vanishing before our eyes. I mean, I am shocked. I'm here in the Mountain West. And we normally have snow up on the mountains all around me. We don't have snow. I mean, we have some in really high elevations, but usually on the mountain right behind my ranch, we have snow up there at this time. It snowed yesterday, but nothing stuck because it's too warm. So you don't have that snow. And now, at least here in Idaho, cutbacks on water are already being talked about.
Because going back to how Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi created this planet, everything supports one another. When it snows on these mountains and it sticks, then what happens to that snow? It eventually melts and it flows into the rivers. And that river, right, runs through the rocks. And that's how you get spring water. All right, and then, the humans come forth and gather that water. They cleanse it and then they package it out. That's where we get our water from. You check, like I'm drinking Saratoga right now. You know, Saratoga, you can check it. You can read the back and it tells you, all right, where it's coming from. Okay. All right, where is it at, man? Right. It's coming from Stanford, Connecticut. All that's in it is spring water, carbon dioxide. That's it. Okay. Sweetwater Spring, Saratoga Springs, New York. It's coming from Saratoga Spring, New York. All right. White Cedar Springs, Franklin County, MEN or Nature's May Springs. So it's coming from a couple springs, I believe. But the point is, it's giving you a source where it's coming from. Okay? Aquafina, Dasani, all that BS don't give you the end. It's in a what? A glass bottle. So you're not drinking the plastics. So it's in a glass bottle. Now, if that process that Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is altered, stops, it ceases, where the snow does not melt and turn into water, or the snow is not sticking, etc., then yeah, you're going to have setbacks. So going back to sudden famine, the water, you're going to have famine from water. You're going to have famine from all this type of stuff that you've been accustomed to. All right? So you Americans, man, that truly don't understand what's coming to this place, your whole way of life, you a Barbie girl in a Barbie world, your whole way of life is about to be fucked up. You understand? I can't put it no other way. You about to be sick because you haven't prepared yourself. And first, you prepare yourself spiritually. All right? So we touched on famine enough and a little bit on persecution. I want to move ahead to the CHIP MOTB. All right. And like I said, this study hall, so we just going, it's sometimes just how I just put a lesson together. Just, hey, type in, I already know that Sweden is heavy on it. So I'm going to type in Sweden chip implant. Perfect. Okay. And let's check. This was 10 days ago. Oh, I actually did a lesson on this, so I ain't going to use that one. This was 5 years ago. Matter of fact, let's do this one.
How dirty is our money? The onset of the coronavirus pandemic is forcing institutions around the world to rethink about one particularly germy service: cold, hard cash. This is going to be hard to hear, but according to multiple studies, microorganisms found living on the surface of cash and even credit cards range from mouth and vaginal bacteria to flu-like viruses. But what if you can...
All right. Now, if money is so damn dirty, then, I mean, hey, the strippers should be the dirtiest people on the planet, right? You understand? If money is so damn dirty, hey, money is dirty, but hey, 20 years ago, it didn't cause nothing like that. Now, you saw that, though, during 2020, 2021. They was putting it out that it's on the money. It's passing via the money. Okay? What did they stop producing? Pennies, nickels. They'll stop producing coins. They're gonna stop making cash. Because we're moving into a cashless society. And they're using this dumbass justification that the viruses are passing via the money. Okay? This is why, it says, sweeties say goodbye to cash with microchip implants.
daily purchases without touching a thing. Welcome to Sweden, where thousands of people are inserting tiny microchips under their skin so that they no longer have to carry cash, IDs, gym passes, and key cards to get into work.
I have 2 microchip implants, one on the right and one on the left. I got the micro implants because I wanted to be part of the future. I don't need keys, so I'm able to actually open the doors with my hands.
These tiny chips are about the size of a grain of rice, and they're implanted into the back of the hand with a syringe. And so far, about 3,000 Swedes have gotten them implemented.
So in Sweden, you can actually use it to put your train tickets inside. You can actually use it with Scandinavia's biggest gym chain, so you don't actually need to show your membership card. I use it personally as a business card, so you can actually put your phone on my hand and then my LinkedIn pops up.
She thinks she's so smart. Aw, poor thing. She thinks she's so smart. Let's go to Revelations. Revelations 13 and 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark, a charagma, right, in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay. Now, as y'all heard her say, she got 2 of them things. She got one in the left hand, one in the right hand. She doubled down. She said she want to be a part of the future. All right. Definitely an Edomite, So, hey, Edomites are going to take this thing willingly, easily, right? And some are going to fight back, right? That's why they've been cautious to bring this thing to America, and especially to make it mandatory. They're going to be cautious with it. But as you can see with Trump visiting China, and he took all those tech Mongols over there, okay, such as Elon, such as Mark Zuckerberg, such as Larry Fink, individuals that run BlackRock, Blackstone, Vanguard, etc., major investment companies and all of that. All right. So people that control your Wi-Fi, they control your cell phones, they control all of that. Those people went over there to China because China is the most advanced as per AI and the 15-minute cities, the social credit score system, right? So with that being said, they're over there gathering information and learning, and they're about to join up and they're gonna whatever they learned over there, they're gonna bring that back to America and implement it. And hey, man, next year, man, I pray. I pray by the end of this year, but next year, they don't need that long to really implement these type of things. Now, China, if you really look up the demographic of China, most of their people live in, it's like a few major cities, and a lot of their people don't live in the wilderness of China, because China's it's a big country. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of their people live in these major cities, and these major cities are ran by AI, certain cities. Okay? So it's easier for them to do it. And Chinese people, Moab is more docile. They don't have guns. They don't have the will to fight back like that. They're docile, man. Yeah, they're Esau's washpot, kind of. And they're gonna be our washpot too. All right. In the kingdom, they're gonna be doing what? Nails and et cetera, et cetera. But besides the point, Yahawah has given them the ability to be really special with the AI, man. How they move with the AI. So Esau is going to bring that information back, and he's going to run and add that to his plan, because Esau has to be the one to bring in the chip. All right. Yeah, China got the 15-minute cities and all of that and this and that, but they're not going to be the one to go forth heavily with the chip like that. All right. All right. So although it may look like China is in the front of the race, Esau is about to pass them. And Esau is about to come forth and bring his little plan, his enterprise. He's about to set it up. And Moab and all these other nations, they'll get in line, because this thing is going to come upon the whole world. That hour of temptation comes upon the whole world. Now, verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that have the mark, or the name of his beast, or the number of his name. As you can see, she put it in, she got her business card on it. She's buying and purchasing things with it. So buying or sell. Commerce is ran by it. She's paying all her bills with it. Everything she's doing, she can just swipe her hand. And hey, some jakes may see that and be like, that's convenient. And they may take it because they don't got the spirit of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. They don't understand. Now, as the brother brought out, Revelation 16, and before that, let's go to Revelation 14 and verse 9. And the angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of power, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, in the presence of the Lamb. So you're going to be tormented in the presence of what? Of the brothers, man. All right? Of the angels. And of Yahawashi. In that lake of fire, which is what? America. Burning. That's ultimately going to be your fate. You're going to be tormented for a long while. And eternity means simply a long while. And then you'll eventually go to the spirit world, and you'll come back as a child in the kingdom. Okay? Because Israel shall be saved with an everlasting salvation. But you take that chip, like we're telling you right now, you have no repentance. All right? Now, going to Revelation 16 and 2, starting at 1, and I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of power upon the earth. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a newsome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worship his image. And that's going into that lithium battery that's in these chips. All right, that radiation of that battery basically frying your body, man. Okay, where you're having that sore, you're burning on the inside. That battery is they're turning those 6G towers up. Matter of fact, let's pull that up. Let's just type in 6G. 6G is the planned let's scroll up. Is the planned 6th generation of cellular mobile communications currently in the global research and development phase, expected to launch commercially around 2030. It aims to deliver speeds up to 100 times faster than 5G alongside sub-millisecond latency, native artificial intelligence, and integrated sensing capabilities. And you don't got to wait that long. Okay? Trump has just expedited 6G. All right? Let's type that up. Everything we saying, we going to prove. On December 19, 2025, President Trump signed the Winning the 6G Race memorandum to accelerate 6G development by reallocating the 7.125 7.2 gigahertz spectrum band for commercial use. This order directs the NTIA to move federal systems out of this band within 12 months, aiming to secure U.S. leadership in 6G and AI, et cetera, et cetera. He expedited it. He's moving forward. Okay, so it's full speed ahead towards 6G. And as he said, surveillance under the skin. Okay, now what does that sound like to you? If you're not convinced by now, that's C-HIPs, man. That's RFID C-HIP. That's the MOTB. That's what that is. It's no other way around that. So this 6G initiative, which is being expedited, is pushing that RFID C-HIP. And since they went over there to get all the information on 15-minute cities, social credit score system, all right, everything that China is using with AI, they're going over there to gather intel and information, and they're gonna bring it back. What do you think they're doing all that for, man? All right, let's furthermore look into that. Who did, like I said, this is study hall. You could type this stuff up and look into it yourself as well. Who did Trump take with him to China? Who are the U.S. CEOs in China with Trump, and what's in it for them? Can I get a list? Go to images. Man, come on. Ah, man, I hate New York Times, man. They try to make you buy this shit. All right, I'll read through a couple of them. Elon Musk, we know, and we thought they was beefing. You know what I'm saying? Tim Cook, he is busy as his tenure as Apple winds down. The CEO announced, I guess he's the CEO of Apple, and Apple is major, right? With AI and all this type of stuff that's happening. NVIDIA is extremely big on AI and robots and chips, okay? So NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang heads to Beijing, right? Just months after the company received approval to sell one of its powerful AI chips to China with conditions. All right, so hey, look, man, stop thinking that these that like they're against each other. No, it's all a script. All right, it's all a script. I read Behold a Pale Horse. I read that shit when I was 15. In that book, it stated that these world powers, they meet every year in the North Pole, and they pass each other a script of everything that needs to happen that year. So you need to go to war here, and you need to do this, and you need to do that, and it's all a script, man. That's going back to Psalm 64. Okay, that's going back to Psalms 83. The secret counsel of the wicked. You have Edomites that have infiltrated the Chinese government. It's called the Li family. All right, let me look. I'm gonna show y'all that real quick. Li family Illuminati. Oh, look at this. It's rooted in conspiracy theories. Claims regarding the Li family in China being part of an Illuminati structure are rooted in conspiracy theories and alternative research literature rather than mainstream historical or political analysis. The Li family's role. This is a family in China these are Edomites. These are not Moabs, but they are Edomites. Just how the Edomites are rooted in Saudi Arabia. Those are Edomites. Some of them are Edomites in the head structure. All right? Those are not Saudis. Those are not Ishmaelites. But the Saudi prince, that's an Edomite. Just how the Edomites embedded themselves in the Ottoman Empire. They embed themselves in empires. They embed themselves in these places, man. So you have Edomites in high positions in China. Okay? And the Li family is one of the main ones, man. As you can see, you could go in. It's much information on these individuals. All right? You could watch this movie. It's a show, The Blue-Eyed Samurai. And it shows you how Esau was over there smuggling in opium and drugs and weapons and all this type of stuff. They were smuggling into China and polluting China, man. And the Moab was like, nah, man, we got to get these devils out of here. Hey, that's the spirit, bro. Because don't many brothers talk about it. The brother said, my officer told me that last night about the Li family. That's the spirit. Exactly, bro. You know, and I saw y'all out there on the corner. I saw you and Shabai out there with that main brother in the middle, man. Hey, beautiful, beautiful. I just watched y'all camp before I got on here. You know, hey, it's beautiful to see y'all brothers up out there, man. Hey, see? Oh, man, look at them boys. Look at them boys out there. That's what's up. That's what's up. You know? Hey, Shalawam, Shalawam. So, yeah, you got these individuals over here. Esau has basically infiltrated everywhere, man. He's everywhere. Okay? He's not a keeper at home. He don't stay at home with it. Right? So, who else? Kelly Oakberg, a former CEO at Aerospace. All right. So basically just big names, man. BlackRock chairman and CEO Larry Fink. Remember that name. Larry Fink. Okay? BlackRock is major investment company. BlackRock, Blackstone, and Vanguard. That's how the banking families push their money around and control wars, control commerce, control whatever. They got so much money. They got trillions of dollars in these companies. They can raise a stock or drop a stock just by what they invest in or pull out. Okay, so BlackRock and Blackstone. Okay, that's major. Remember those. Cargill chairman, Citi chairman, Coherent CEO, G Aerospace chairman, Goldman Sachs, more investments. All right. Illumina CEO, MasterCard, Meta. What's Meta? All right, the metaverse, where they're basically creating a second Earth in the metaverse, a digital Earth, where they want people to live via what's them shits? Virtual reality. You know? So it's just like if you ever watched that movie Ready Player One. Okay, I pull that up. That's a good little movie because that's what Esau wants you to do. He wants you to be so caught up in that and not in real life. Ready Player One. where you live in virtual reality. You know what I'm saying? They do the same thing on Black Mirror. You know? So it goes back into Psalm 64 and 8. They fall upon their tongue and they show you what they want to do to you. Right? They want to have you like this. You know? So the Meta president, that's heavy. All right. Micron and Calcom Visa. Okay. And, you know, you could do more research into these individuals and you could find a lot of stuff. All right. And the elders was going into a lot of this stuff. You know, it's a hot topic right now. Okay. So it's doing with communications, investments, all of this. This is that. After they have this little meeting and all of this, they're going to come back and they're going to be full steam ahead, moving forward towards that NWO. And you know what that means. New World Order. All right. So let's go back to Revelation 16 and 2. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a newsome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worship his image. And that's going to be a lot of people. A lot of people are going to take this thing. You may say right now, and I ain't talking about men of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, but I'm talking about individuals that you're not deeply rooted and you're not standing steadfast in this thing. You're just half-assing it. You like, yeah, I know I'm an Israelite, but so what? That's how you are. If that's your mindset, you're going to take the chip, man. Because you haven't been built up. So you don't really understand what you are a part of. Okay? When they come in like a flood, bro. Hey, man. You know, ain't no overnight converting. You know what I'm saying? You need to convert right now. Let's get one precept to support that. Ain't no overnight converting. This is Sirach 5 and 7. And it reads, make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day, for suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. What is holding you from turning to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi? It's your security. It's your comfortability. That's why, man, I've been doing my martial arts and stuff lately, kung fu and all of that. And I've been getting out of my comfort zone and getting used to pain more. You know, you want to stay out of your comfort zone. All right. So you need to constantly do that, man. Yeah. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Right. That's what the brother meant to say. You know what I'm saying? So get comfortable being uncomfortable. Right. Because that's what we're about to be in Jacob's trouble. This is going to be a very uncomfortable situation. And the reward of that is us moving into the greatest comfortable position we've ever been in, which is true rest. That's why the saints shall cry aloud on their beds, man. All right? In true rest. When we chilling and relaxing, hey man, we in our chariots, man, you know what I'm saying? Hey, we could talk about that all day. Right? But the fact is, we're not in rest right now. You're a slave in captivity. So what? You got promoted at your job. You're still a slave. You still got to come home and you're still subject to this white man. You understand? So stop being comfortable in captivity. All right? So, we done touched on both of those points. Last point I'm going to touch on is persecution. Persecution. Okay? And let me see. I'll just bring up a real quick video to show you that this man off his rocker and he is that cruel Lord. All right?
The Trump Justice
Matter of fact, let's run through these.
Department wants to bring back firing squads for federal executions. And this announcement came Friday as the Justice Department says it wants to be able to move more quickly in death penalty cases. Now, each state has its own policies when it comes to using the death penalty for people convicted at the state level. But at the federal level, death penalty policy tends to depend on which party is in power. Under the first Trump administration, they expanded use of the death penalty. The Biden administration reversed that, but then Trump said that he would resume use of the federal death penalty during his second term.
If somebody kills somebody in the Capitol, Washington, D.C., we're going to be seeking the death penalty.
Now, the Justice Department, citing a shortage of the drug used in lethal injection, says it should be able to use other methods like electrocution and also gas asphyxiation. Now, this is something they have used recently down in Alabama with nitrogen gas put into a mask on the inmate's face. Now, the Justice Department says that those last two methods, electrocution and asphyxiation via gas, that those don't violate the Eighth Amendment's ban on cruel and unusual punishment. The Supreme Court has never answered those specific questions. The Supreme Court has ruled that firing squads are constitutional, but that was back in the late 1800s.
And that's where they want to get back to. The late 1800s, when we were slaves, man. All right? And I'm talking about, chattel slavery, where they could do whatever they wanted to us. Okay? Where they used to have these little slave police and all of that. Hang a nigga real quick. Pick a nigga. Okay? Hey, coming from the brother Nashar, Philippians 1:29-30. For unto you it is given in the behalf of Hamashiach, not only to believe on him, but also to suffer for his sake. So, yeah, you got the faith, but what about those works? Do you understand? Part of those works is you suffering that persecution. All right? It takes a lot of work, man. We got to go through this. All right? Vexation. You feeling everything that this place is putting out. You're feeling everything that is wicked. And you're enduring through all of that. It's work to endure, to go through this place. We hate this place, man. So, hey, but maintain your cool. Remember Yahawashi. Okay? He came through here. He maintained his cool. He went through it. He flipped tables, etc., etc. He did what he did. All right? But he never sinned. So get angry, but sin not. Verse 30, having the same conflict which ye saw in me, and now here to be in me. So we got to go through these similar conflicts, these similar situations. Paul got stoned, and what? He continued to do what he's supposed to do. This is, have you suffered unto blood? All right. Loosely quoting, what's that, man? Have you been persecuted unto blood, basically? If a brother want to throw that up, you could, So you got to feel it, man. You got to feel it. And right now, these are little pop quizzes. These are little tests that we going through. Jacob's trouble is that major test. Everything that we going through builds up to that. All right. Let's see what else they got over here. Let's play this one. Let's read this one. All right, let's go back. Trump administration reinstates firing squad for death penalty. The Justice Department on Friday, pull it back. The Justice Department on Friday said it will seek to impose the death penalty in more federal cases and will expand the way in which convicted inmates can be killed, including... And this is just showing you he is that cruel Lord because there's no mercy, man. Including federal cases, and will expand the way in which convicted inmates can be killed, including bringing back the firing squad as a means of execution. The department said it will bring back firing squads to kill prisoners and readapt lethal injections using whatever chemical that is, which were put on pause by former President Joe Biden after a government review found the drug may cause unnecessary pain and suffering. So what is this, man? It's torture. They're bringing back torture. You know, what is hanging you to death? That's torture. All right? These lethal injections is torture. So this cruel Lord is bringing back torture. Hey, the water, Akian. Hebrews 12. And starting at 4. Ye have not yet resisted unto blood, striving against sin. And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. So we got to go through that. Now, hey, Yahawah, we don't go through torture. Because, hey, we say all the time, we understand, you know, he's going to sustain us. He's going to protect us. He's going to be with us. If we have a death, I pray it be a quick death, such as a guillotine or something like that. You know, a lot of this torture and stuff is set up for these 2/3, these jakes that hate the Lord. You know, but the fact is, it's coming. And Esau is going to have these torture devices brought. He's bringing these things out, and he's bringing much fear. All right. And we got to have the courage, really through the Spirit, to face these things that we have to encounter. We may be in a prison and we hear brothers, just how Elder Kazak down in Mississippi had that dream of he was in that line and individuals was getting tortured, you know. We may be in a prison and we hear individuals screaming all night, getting tortured. You know what I'm saying? So it's these type of situations. Are you going to fold? Are you going to be like, hey, man, I'll take the chip. I'll take it. Are you going to be like that? Or are you going to trust in Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi through it all, man? You know? Yeah, the brother said, if your body do get tortured, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi can take your spirit and allow you to endure. Look at Stephen. He got stoned, but it basically said that his spirit went up. You know, so Yahawah took him quick. All right. I got you. Proverbs 24, 10 through 12 in the NLT. And it reads, if you fail under pressure, your strength is too small. Rescue those who are unjustly sentenced to die. Save them as they stagger to their death. Don't excuse yourself by saying, look, we didn't know. For Yahawah understands all hearts, and he sees you. He who guards your soul knows you knew. He will repay all people as their actions deserve. Right? And Yahawah, hey, spiritual powers are given, and individuals that's in certain situations like that, he allows brothers to come and rescue those, to come and get those out. Remember the acts of old. Remember how the angels came and rescued individuals. Peter, Paul, remember these things. Remember Jeremiah was in a well. Joseph was in a well. You know, remember these situations. Remember Daniel was in a lion's den. Remember the 3 holy children was in a furnace. Right? Remember these things. Remember Moses stood in the face of Pharaoh. The Egyptians at that time was the largest empire, was the most ruthless empire. He stood before, that's like us standing in front of Trump saying, let our people go. Remember these things, man. Did Moses have fear? All right? Through the name of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, man, we're going to overcome and we're going to make it. Giving words that they cannot gainsay. We're not moving off of ourselves. Going back to the point of your opinion does not matter. We're going to be moving 100% off the spirit. 100% off the spirit, man. All right. I get that. I'm going to get this to be the last precept, and I'm going to get up out of here. This is Isaiah 51 and 12 through 13 from the brother Nashar. I, even I, am he that comforteth you. Who art thou, that thou shouldest be afraid of a man that shall die, and of the Son of Man, which shall be made as grass? and forgetteth Yahawah thy maker, that have stretched forth the heavens and laid the foundations of the earth, and has feared continually every day because of the fury of the oppressor, as if he were ready to destroy. And where is the fury of the oppressor? Going back to what Yahawashi said, man, fear not him that can, hurt your flesh, all right, but fear him that can hurt your flesh and your soul in hell. All right? So ultimately, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi controls everything that's going on. He can make it worse for you. You turn on him in your day of trouble, then your strength is weak. You understand? So you got to hold on to him in the midst of firing squads, in the midst of guillotines, in the midst of everything that's transpiring. Famines, pestilence, persecutions. Don't be faint heart. Exactly. So, hey, that's it, brothers. I'm going to end it right there. The water for all the support. Make no haste in time of trouble. Exactly. We hit the points. All right. The MOTB, which is that C-hip, that RFID C-hip, famine, pestilence, and persecution. Okay? So, wait, with that being said, facing the east, giving all praises, honor, and glory be to the Heavenly Father and His Son, by way of the Holy Spirit, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone. As always, Shalawam, Shalawam to the Lord's hopeful elect. Kwam Yasharahla and Abab Babal. All right, keep the faith. Keep the faith. Shalawam, Shalawam.